area of impact when that was established?
20
Why
plus.
is it being reduced?
It was, the original area of city impact was put in place 20 plus years ago.
Before I moved here?
Yes.
I'll comment on that. I mean, I was previous mayor, City of Ingham, previous mayor, City of McCammon.
Okay.
30 years ago, we were encouraged to do an area of impact. And we were told to go as far as we could go. So the City of Income's area of impact went from Ingham to the Gap. And if you look at the map, the City of Lava's went to where McCammon's started and ended. I mean, we were just told to go as big as we could go. And that's what, when Hal says that, then the cities thought that they controlled everything within them cities of impact. And the state legislature come out and says, no, you don't. The Supreme Court in Idaho come out and says, no, city authority ends at the city line, 100%. And so they come in and they says, okay, now you make a city an area of impact that you may have the possibility of providing services to and providing annexation to within the next 5 years. So the City of Ingham, they went to zero. They had a group come and wanted to annex where Gilbert's used to live down there. And they says, no, we don't have the water, we don't have the sewer, we can't provide for that. So their area of impact went from the Gap to the city limit. And that's all we're doing now today is saying, okay, the area of impact for the City of Lava, instead of going out 5 miles every place, it's going to go out a mile here or a half mile here. And it's already, you've already been in the area of impact. We're just saying that that's shrunk for the cities to have better understanding. And if they decided to annex, then they come and talk to us as a county and say, okay, if there's going to be a subdivision go in here, we want them to eventually hook to city sewer and water and stuff, so let's plan on that. Instead of everybody having their own septic system and everybody having their own well, let's plan on that. So it's a tool for the future growth if that ever happened.
Who determined the shrinkage, where that boundary becomes?
That was negotiated with our planning and development and the City of Lava.
So they do have.
We've been working on that since
They do have
April.
control of that area of impact.
No, they don't.
They do not.
They have,
You just said they did.
they have,
No.
they negotiated with us to say, this is where we think that we may end up expanding in the next 5 years. But they don't have any authority except up to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bullock?
You know, in light of that, and I appreciate the City of Lava because I'm from City of McCammon, born and raised there forever. When the area of impacts first came out, we were thinking, how do we protect our water, our lands and everything else from wells, from septic tanks and all of that other stuff. We're all living on an aquifer. Back then, that's what we thought we were protecting. Literally was the aquifers, everything else. We did not have any comprehensive plans in the county, I can tell you that. So with that, last 20, 30 years, we have designed comprehensive plans, we have new zoning, we have all of those things. So I think part of that's why the legislature has kind of said, okay, now that we have the health department to protect the wells and the septic systems or whatever it is. So with that, the governing agency of a county is still the county. It has never changed. We just misinterpreted that as cities years ago. Because of fire, could we get a fire truck up that canyon? There were so many other things that was written into it that probably shouldn't have been, but now they are. And so with that, that's really, we've defined that down to really does make more sense for the county to control what we can, with the exception of future growth. We need to make sure that the right road's going into somewhere, that we have proper infrastructure in place that doesn't cost the residents twice. Once to put in a well, and then 2 years later, we're going to run a water line out there because your fire protection is going to require a 6-inch main line. There's just so much planning, and Hal talked to that. So
I understand that portion.
right, and so that's what we're doing today, is just explaining the fact of why some of these lines have been set is with the council of the planning and zoning, the City of Lava, and us. This is what the proposed area of impact is.
What scares me in the verbiage of that form or letter that I got was the highly likelihood that I'm going to be annexed into the city in the next 5 years. I am terrified of that. I am now living on a fixed income. and I expected a certain level of comfort where I'm living, and to eventually be, and I'm not gonna talk about annexation, because that's what this is about, is me being pulled into the city of Lava Hot Springs, paying lava taxes, and not knowing if I'm gonna get water, not knowing if I'm gonna get sewer, not wanting water, not wanting their sewer. I don't want any of that. I want to live my life in my little piece of land that I've lived there for almost 20 years now, until I die. And I am going to make it my goal to make sure that next time we have a meeting about this, there's gonna be more than 20 people here. There's gonna be everybody, hopefully, in that area of impact fighting this. And I know we will come up with a 60% disapproval.
Well,
to be able to veto that.
what you need is when the annexation letter comes, that's when you need to get your people together and fight that.
Well, if we do it now, we've got a lot of time.
Well, that will come from the city of Lava, it won't come from us.
Correct,
We're not annexing.
correct.
Yes,
So-
and thanks for, I know that.
Okay.
But you're unfortunately my sounding board right now.
Fair enough, fair enough.
At my disapproval of this whole
All right,
picture
thank-
of me being a lava citizen.
Real
Thank
quickly,
you. Hal?
Commissioner Huff, let me just interject and then we'll move on to others. Your name again, please?
Casey Craig.
Casey, would you please come to our office, 5500 South Fifth? You can call, schedule an appointment, and let us walk you through our conversations about what led us to this with the City of Lava and their
nice.
planning department, and then help you understand what the real potential is relative to your property. Because we can't be all-seeing, all-knowing about what
Sure.
and what your sentiments are towards that growth pattern, but we can let you know what our conversations have been relative to what Lava is anticipating may occur within 5 years. Maybe it will help.
I'd have a first, I would never be able to prove it, but I have a sneaking suspicion that there are people involved that reduce that area of impact for their own financial gain.
Okay.
Okay.
We can't speak to
Please
that, but
I know.
go visit with Hal.
But-
Come and talk to us at your convenience. You can find us on the internet, et cetera.
I've said what I want to
Bannock
say.
County Planning, and
Okay.
hopefully we can help give you a greater level of calm.
Come on up, my friend.
I wasn't
Yep.
notified.
You got to come up.
I got it on Facebook because
You got to state your name, Kirby, sorry.
Kirby Pagnato. I own the arena. I wasn't notified. I found it on Facebook and people notified me. I am opposed to being annexed. I have been fighting annexation for the last 5 years now. I own 10.5 acres next to the city. I have disconnected from city services. I have a well on the property. I am no longer connected to city sewer. I disconnected that last year after they tried to annex me by, what is it called? Implied consent. So I disconnected the sewer.
That's why she's
But
not
you
in
did
the
that
area.
because you asked to be annexed. into
Yes,
the
I
city.
had asked to be, before when we had spoken, annexed commercial, and they sent me papers to be annexed residential, which I cannot operate the arena as residential. So at our later ones in 2021, you rezoned that because it was agricultural with a conditional use for the arena through Lions Club. And you gave it a recreational, so I could operate off of that. Since then, the city, with their new ones, I did have somebody who was going to try to do rodeos this summer. Unfortunately, the City told them they would have to get a permit to do, because I am in the impact area,
Okay.
license on that.
Kirby, I'm going to stop you there because your time's up, but one of the reasons that you did not get notified is because with the shrinking, I believe your property is now outside of the area of city
It's
impact.
in it.
It's in it.
So you did get notified then?
I did not, but it is right next to city limits.
Okay.
But I think
But I would like to be off. But,
So,
I would have to look at the
Okay.
mailing
but I
notice
do know that
list
as
to
an
see if she
arena,
was
the
on it.
commissioners can. You're over here. Nope, I am right here. This is my property. Nope, the arena's right here. It's this weird shaped one right here. You're fine.
That's why I thought you didn't know this.
No,
okay.
the arena's right
Well,
here.
Kirby, I'd have you come talk to planning and development and talk about some of the things that your concerns are. Okay, thank you, Kirby.
Kirby, meet us after the meeting to discuss that issue relative to securing a permit to run a rodeo, etc.
Okay. Lemire? Did I say that right? Megan? Did I get that right, finally?
I guess I've been summoned. I think just
Come on
some
up and sit down.
questions. Megan Reno, I'm not currently in the area of impact. I do have some family businesses that are. I think just some concerns would be, is there any agreements with any city? And if we have a property that, if we're not going to follow county codes or county codes are not being used on us, will we know what codes are being used on us? What agreements do you have with the city? I know there's the agreement with the area of impact, but is there any other agreements that would control how, that would make it different to apply for things than with the county?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
And if there is, so if we wanted, the development was kind of vague. So if someone wanted to do anything, what is a development? What, is it anything with that property?
Yeah,
Right.
so it could be considered anything, but the first thing that would have to take place is you have to connect, right? So in order to have to be required to enter into a development agreement, you have to connect to city water and sewer. If you're not connecting to city water and sewer, then the following paragraph of going into a development agreement with the city does not apply.
Okay, and that's on the ordinance that you guys have?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for answering questions.
Thanks. Lisa?
Yeah, I was listening.
Sorry. Don't believe what I tell you.
Sorry, I don't like standing, I'm too old. So, Lisa Tolley, I do have land, and I believe I am the only land that's left for implied consent. I just have some questions. Both comprehensive plans, I do not know if when the county was adopted, but the city still uses the comprehensive plan from 2013. With their new ordinance that I showed planning and zoning, does that ordinance replace the county's comprehensive plan for that area? Also, it says that in their ordinance that they have, within written 30 days, they can change that. So what, as a person who could develop the land, how does that work? How do I know what I'm going to be able to develop into, what I'm not going to be able to develop into? Is it going to be changed? Am I going to be notified? I mean, I've asked to be put on their area of impact for several years now. As with Kirby, we're not. So, living in Lava for the past 40 years, having businesses for over 40 years there, there's a pattern that things change, but you're not notified. However, with that being said, I just want to know if this county ordinance that you guys have negotiated with the city of Lava, how does it affect, does it replace the state statute 5220-222? I mean, it says, that ordinance says in section 4 that you should have a written annexation plan.
Look at this real quick.
In the state statute, it says that a city should have a written annexation plan, and, you can read the state statute. Does that replace that?
Well, I'll answer that.
Okay.
No,
It does not.
this is just the area of city impact agreement between the city of Lava and the commission.
Okay,
It doesn't replace any ordinances, it doesn't replace any,
But would a comprehensive plan change that? When you
No.
adopt a comprehensive plan, is it going to change
No.
that? Well, with implied consent, it's my understanding, they don't even have to notify me. I could be one month, I could be county, and the next month, I could be city.
Not annexed that way. The annexation process is much more stringent than
With
that.
implied consent, how does that work with me? I'm the only one in this little area of impact that they're going to go after for implied consent.
I can't answer.
How is my rights being protected then?
Lisa, let us move forward with other public testimony, and we'll close this hearing, and then we'll have conversation after.
Can I just have one more minute?
That's-
You've already had 15.
No, I've had one. I'm just
The
saying,
alarm went off.
okay, I'm just saying, I believe that that it's poorly written, and I believe we shouldn't have any area of impact. And when you go to development, it would be the current negotiations that with the county and the city, and different commissioners, different city council members, different people working in planning and zoning. 5 years is a lot of time for things to go on, so I thank you for your time. Now you can
Okay.
say that.
Thank you.
No, you guys still want to talk with her afterwards, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so please, stay after for just a minute and visit with these guys.
Okay.
Okay, with that, that is the end of the public testimony. Anything else from the commission?
No, I just say that the city of Lava is one of them that come and met with the commissioners, and they wanted a lot more authority. And we flat out said, no, that's not gonna happen. We have our planning and zoning board, and that's who you go to. If you're outside the city limits, that who has the authority, and that's who you deal with. And if you're getting notices about a rodeo and having to have permits and all this stuff, that's not coming from the county, and you live in the county. End of discussion.
Okay, Commissioner, anything else?
I agree. I think you got a jurisdictional issue up there and maybe interpretation. But all we can control is what we control with this area of impact county. What the city chooses to do, they'll have to deal with their own legal issue or whatever. But for us, that's the purpose of this hearing is, this is our jurisdiction and we're staying inside of this, in our lane. So does that make sense? So if you got some questions, which it sounds like you do, I would seek their help, and if not, some legal help to go to the city of Pocatello.
Which is costing money.
It is, sorry about
Cost
that.
money for everyone.
So,
True story.
so
They use our money against us.
we can only dance with the people we brought with us. So anyway, with that, I make a motion that we go ahead and close this public.
Okay,
Hearing?
I have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And with that, we will be adjourned for the day.